Hello, Bill here with my guy Onyx. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about why your dog's obedience sucks. Yep, why your dog doesn't listen to you is probably because of this. So there are two phases when we are teaching obedience commands. There's the teach phase where we teach the dog what to do. Onyx, place, which means I'm teaching him how to do things. Yes, good boy. And I'm teaching him how to sit, I'm teaching him how to down, how to place, how to lead it, how to heel, whatever it may be, whatever your command is. But the second stage, which is what most people don't get to, and they don't thoroughly embrace this phase and stay in it long enough, which is the proofing phase. The proofing phase is when we take already learned behaviors. The dog knows what to do. He knows how to sit. He knows how to down. He knows how to place. But now we try to bulletproof it. We want to make sure that he knows that that is the expectation all the time, no matter what is going on around us. If I've given you a command, you got to do it. And when we're talking about the proofing stage, there are four elements that you need to talk about. Number one, and the first one we need to talk about, is duration. How long can your dog actually do a command before making a mistake? And for most dogs, it's, I give the dog a command and I will immediately reward them afterwards. But when we're talking about more advanced obedience and when we're talking about the proving stage, a dog should be able to do those commands for extended periods of time. So the way that we do that is we got to build the dog's duration first. Secondly is we want to make sure we're talking about distance. How far, generally for this term, how far can I be from my dog and expect him to hold that command? Okay, so when we're giving this command, we have to do this, and we have to make sure that we are focusing on, can he do it for a long period of time? First and foremost, if your dog can do a command for a long duration of time, then we can start talking about distance, adding space between you and your dog, and making sure that your dog knows to stay in that place that you've given them, or wherever you've given them that command, and they're not to break it. Okay, once your dog can do those two things, then we can start talking about distraction. And distraction is anything your dog finds interesting. Onyx here loves toys. So I got all his favorite toys around here. So when we're going to show you these examples, you're going to see exactly what proofing looks like. So distractions start off with small distractions first. So something that your dog finds lowly exciting. Maybe that's food. Maybe that's, a squeaker. It doesn't matter. Then as your dog understands these commands over and over and over again, we start to increase the levels of distraction. For Onyx, again, high level distraction would be toys. Okay. And when we start doing that, then your dog starts to concretely understand that, wait, it doesn't really matter what's going on around me. If mom or dad says to do something, I have to do it. Now, the way that you really make sure that the dog understands this is, number one, yes, we have to reward them for the behavior when it's completed. So if I've told him to place and I'm distracting him, I'm trying to make him make a mistake and he doesn't do it, I do have to reward him. But it's very, very important that you get to a point where your dog is going to make a mistake. Mistakes are not the worst thing ever. They're actually the best thing for your dog in this situation because you're teaching your dog from those mistakes. So if I tell Onyx to place and I throw this ball and Onyx gets off the place and I let him go get the ball, what is that teaching him? That teaches him that command, that place command, doesn't apply when there's a high level of distraction, which is exactly when I need it to apply the most. So in that situation again, if I place Onyx and I throw the ball and Onyx goes to get it, I'm going to use the leash here, tell him no, and bring him back on the place. So I'll correct the behavior. So no, you can't go off and get the ball. And then I'll redirect him back onto the command. So for example, hi buddy, come on buddy. So now I got this ball here. So we're going to try and see which one of these Onyx wants the most. Is this squeak? Ooh, what is this? What is this? What is this? You got the Frisbee too? Yeah, what are all these things, okay? Yeah, it's a good boy. All right, Onyx, place. Good boy. Nope. Place. Good boy. Perfect example. Is I got him really excited. He made a mistake. Big deal, right? You can see with my level of correction, I'm not yelling at him. I'm not mad at him, but I am communicating to him that was a mistake. So he can't make that decision. He cannot go and get the ball or the toy, or he doesn't have to listen. He can get off the place cot until I release him, right? And in that case, what I'm going to do is whenever I'm ready, yes, good boy. I'm going to let him off. I'm going to look for some engagement. Then I'm going to let him off. Yeah, it's a good boys. Good boys. Yeah, get it. Get it, buddy. Get it. Out. Good. Place. All the way. Atta boy. Good. Good. Good job, buddy. So Onyx made one mistake. Wait for some engagement here. Yes, get it again. Get it again. Yeah, get it, get it, get it. Get it. Yeah, get it. So Onyx made one mistake. I tried to make him make the same mistake, and he's like, nope, can't do that, Bill. I know that you're going to tell me that I can't do that if you've given me a command. Good boy. Good boy. Out. Good job. Place. Sit. Good. Good. Oh, yeah. And now what you're seeing right now is thinking. A dog that is processing his decision, right? I want to go get that ball. I want to go get that Frisbee. Yes, good boy. Good choice. Good boys. So you see him thinking there. You see him in that moment. What am I going to do? Right? The first time, he learned from his mistake. He decided to jump right off the place cot before I released him because he was overly excited about the ball and the Frisbee and all the other things here. But that doesn't work, right? The goal of correction is always to teach. So, yep, what I'm showing him in that moment is that, yes, even though there are all these fun and exciting things here, if I've told you to do something, I will hold you to that expectation. Now, if you don't do it, there is a punishment, there's a consequence for that, right? And all that is that I correct him on the leash and I bring him back. You probably didn't even notice that I did it. So there's a consequence for it, but there is also a reward when you do listen to what I asked you to do, which is that we get to play together, okay? So when we are playing with our dogs and when we are giving them commands and we are working with them, you'll notice that we have to bulletproof his obedience. He's got to understand that if I tell him to place, he's got to stay on that cot until further notice, right? It doesn't matter that there's all these high-level things. It doesn't really matter. If I've told him to do something, he's got to do it. So same idea here is that I'll give him a command, sit. Good. Watch him think. And that ball rolling helps me really see a distraction there. And as soon as he engages back with me, that's what's going to get, nope, sit. Good. Yes, good boy. So again, it's okay. I want him to make mistakes. I'm tempting him here. I'm trying to battle test him. I'm trying to bulletproof his obedience so that he understands that if I've told him to do something, I will hold him to it no matter what's going on. So that these mistakes that you're making, you might be thinking, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, the dog is making mistakes. No, dogs making mistakes when we're in the proofing phase of obedience, that is what they're supposed to do. If you're not taking your dog to the level where they're going to make a mistake, what you're doing is you're throwing them softballs, they're hitting a bunch of home runs, and then you take your dog out to the park where there are real-life distractions, or you take them in their backyard where there's, you know, all tons of chaos going on in their front yard, and then they don't listen to you because you've never actually showed them that if I say sit, it means sit, period. If I told you to place, it means place, period. It doesn't matter what's going on around there. Don't worry about it. I'm talking to you. I'm giving you a message. I'm going to hold you to it. Now, there's a consequence if you don't do it, but there's also reward, plenty and plenty and plenty of reward when you do it, right? So now, same idea here too, is that once we are in the middle of that proofing stage, is that we can see that your dog is going to make less and less mistakes if you're consistent. If every time I give Onyx a command and he doesn't do the command, and I'm on top of him, I make sure, hey, in that moment I correct, and I tell him nope, and I give him the command again, you're going to notice that I have to do that far less often because he's going to understand, oh, whether the ball rolls past me, doesn't matter. Watch, and we'll demonstrate that. Hopefully right now, we'll see if Onyx has connected the dots here. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Yeah, it's a good boys. Yeah, it's a good boys. Yeah, it's a good boys. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good boys. Good boys. Out. Good jobs. What are we going to play with? What are you going to play with? We're going to play with the ball. We're going to roll the ball. Yeah, it's a good boys. All right. So now I'm going to give him a direction. Onyx, place. Use my leash here. Make sure that he follows the command. Good boy. So now place means all four paws have to be on this cot. Good boy. Good. Yes, good boy. Yeah, get it. So now I'm going to reward him with some tug because he made a really good decision and he let that ball roll right on by. Yeah, it's a good boys. So he let that ball roll right on by, knowing that if I told him to place, he can't get off of there. Doesn't matter if the ball rolls by. Doesn't matter if, again, big picture. Oh, another dog walks by, a squirrel runs by. Doesn't matter. If I told you to do something, I'm going to hold you to it. If you do it, I'm going to reward you at the end of it, just like I just did, right? So again, last thing I'll mention in the proofing phase is I like to think of this as like a scoreboard. It's like a big game. Now, I want to show my dog how to win. Now, Onyx knows how to place, and I've showed him how to be successful at the place command, is just staying there. You know, if he can do it for a long period of time, he can do it through, as I walk away, great. And I've showed him, I built up a bunch of wins for him. But also at the same time, now that we start working with distractions, he does need to know how to lose this game. So if the game of place or the game of sit or the game of down, if he only knows how to win it, which means that he just needs to do the command until he feels like it, what's going to happen is that we didn't really battle test his obedience. We didn't really show him how he could lose this game, and that's very important when we're talking about obedience. Right, is we want to make sure that our dog understands that these commands that we give them are until further notice, until I release you. Okay, so thinking of it like a big scoreboard, you definitely want to make this a game where your dog wins more than they lose, right? So that, you know, nobody likes to play a game where they don't know how to win. Same thing applies for dogs. If you're just making the game too hard, too fast, your dog keeps failing, dog's not going to want to play anymore. He's not going to want to participate in this game. You're going to ruin your relationship with your dog because you're not making it winnable. Okay, but at the same time, if we, again, think of this like a game where he does lose occasionally, but most of the time he wins because I set him up for success as opposed to failure. If he wins 8 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times, 70% or 80% of the time, right, that's a game that I want to play. If you told me that I would be able to, if you want to play a game with me, but I'll win 70% of the time or 80% of the time, yeah, I want to play that game because winning is fun, right? Same thing with dogs. We want to make sure he understands how to win, and also that losing's part of this game. They're both equally important. We've got to make sure that we do both for our dogs if we want obedience and reliable obedience all the time, anywhere, no matter what. Okay, so that is why, if you haven't done that, if you haven't really battle tested your dog's obedience, that's probably why your dog's obedience stinks, why they don't listen to you when there are lots of distractions. The way to fix it, start practicing around with the distractions, right? Really make sure your dog understands concretely what you're asking them to do, and then start leveling it up. Make it a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, until your dog realizes that, no, it doesn't really matter what's going on around me. If you told me to do something, I got to do it, okay? All right, awesome. If you guys have any questions, hit me in the comments. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want more dog training content, more dog training tips and tricks, and I'll see you guys next one.